Alrighty, friends, let's wrap up this first half of the triangle chapter for 13. And what we're going to be doing is finding the areas. We've done a lot of work on how do I find the sides. I use SOHCAHTOA if it is a right triangle law of sines. If I have a big A, little a matching angle opposite side pair, I use law of cosines. And then we use those to find both the sides and the angles. But we also need to know how to find area. And different triangles require different formulas, kind of depending on what information is given. So back in geometry, we did like right triangle trig, and our area formula was area equals 1/2 base times height, but base has to be perpendicular to the height, so they have to intersect at 90. So for what we're doing, that will work for right triangles. And so in right triangles, like here, doesn't matter which one's base and height as long as they're at that 90. Oops, so I made them both base apparently. So I could do area will equal 1/2 the base times the height. And then I plop that into my calculator and I get an area of 42. Now in the second one, I do not know the height, and so I have to find it. And so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. We're going to say the height squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. This is going to turn into 16 equals 25. And so some of you might just know that this is going to be a 3 because of 3, 4, 5 triangles, but that side turns into a 3. And so I end up with the area equaling 1/2 the base times the height, and that's going to turn into an area of 6. Okay, so what if you have non-right triangles? So one of the formulas, if we know all three sides, this is the formula, which looks really daunting, but you're just plugging numbers in. A, B, and C are the sides of the triangle, but S is what we call a semi-perimeter, meaning half of the perimeter. And if you remember, perimeter means you add up all the sides. So to get half, you divide it by 2, and that gives you S. So this is something you're going to need to know and then be able to use. So here I have a triangle. I have my ABC, so I need to find my S. I add 5 and 8 and 11. Make sure that if you're doing this on your calculator, you let it know that you are closing out that top. I end up with 23 over 2. Excuse me, I end up with 24 over 2. And so 12 is my semi-perimeter. So going back to this formula, my area is going to be the big fat square root of 12 and then 12 minus each side. So 12 minus 5, 12 minus 8, 12 minus 11. Now you can, if you want to, make this easier to put into your calculator by doing those subtractions or not, whatever you want to do. You're going to do that whole thing. I will say that in a lot of times kids forget to put this out in front. So make sure that you're looking at the formula and putting that S in all the times that it has to be in. When I did this, I got square root of 336, which came out to be about 18.3 for an area. Definitely practice that so you know how to use that massive square root on your own. Here again, I have my three sides, so my semi-perimeter is going to be 11 plus 5 plus 7 all over 2. And because the formula requires me to add up the three sides, I need to have that side information in order to use this formula. This one comes out to be 23 over 2, so my S comes out to be 11.5. So I've got my big fat square root, my 11.5, and then 11.5 minus each side length. It does not matter which side you put first, second, third. You just got to get it all in there. If you do all those parentheses and type it in like that, you'll get the right answer. You just have to be cautious because it's easy to make a mistake. I got 168.18-ish under the root. So when I did the square root, I got about 12.98 as my area. So formulas are pretty easy because you just got to plug in the numbers, but you have to choose the right formula and then put in the right numbers. So that is the catch. So our third and last area formula, 1 is just the straight up formula from geometry. 2 is this Heron's formula, and you got to find your semi-perimeter, and that's for use when you know all three sides. But if you don't, you can use this last one. So here, if we have two sides in the angle that they create, like here's a side, and this angle is the one that those two sides create, then we can use this third and last formula. Again, don't obsess about A's and B's and C's. Here's what I do know that, though. They all have to be different letters. So you can't have both an angle C and a side C in there. So watch that you have three different letters in your formula. In this case, I know I have side, angle, side. So my area is going to be 1/2. Keep in mind that these are the two sides, and this is the angle they form. So I'll have 1/2 times 6 times 5 times the sine of 142. So this has sine in this formula. And when I did that, I got about 9.23 as my area. Give it a try. Here, I can see that I have G, M, and then E. So they're all three different letters, which means I'm going to be able to use this formula. 1/2 of 11 times 7 times the sine of 120, straight into my calculator, 33.3. So the area calculation should be easy as long as you are paying attention to, hey, should I use this formula because it's a right triangle? This one, remembering how to find S because I know all three sides, or this one because I know two sides in the included angle. So know the correct formula and then how to use it, and you'll be golden. Bye, guys.